You know what I want to look up? Hold on. I want to look up what's the best Nintendo 3DS games that I could purchase before the shop goes down forever. So, 2 weeks ago, we're about to lose even more. The 25 best 3DS games of all time.
The Nintendo 3DS launched all the way back in the first half of 2011, and during its life, it amassed quite the library of games. Now, if you were to count all the different region-specific titles and eShop exclusives, there's well over 1,000 titles on the Nintendo 3DS. Just like the Wii, the 3DS is home to a plethora of excellent games.
Wait, what version of the DS was that? I don't even remember this one. Which one is this one? The new 2DS? The new 2DS XL? I don't remember this one.
1,000 titles on the Nintendo 3DS. Just like the Wii, the 3DS is home to a plethora of excellent games, but also some pretty unsavory ones as well. So in order to thin out the list, we decided to have you, our viewers and readers, help us pick the best games on the 3DS. So whether you're looking to expand your already extensive 3DS library, or you're just now picking up one of these wonderful little systems and you're curious where to begin, we've got just the list for you. I'm Zan from Nintendo Life, and today we're happy to share with you our fan-voted list of the best games on the 3DS. And
I like his wall. He has like a lot. Yo, he got all the physical copies of these games. I wish I could do that. But the problem is all the physical copies of these games now are very expensive. They're so fucking expensive.
the games on this list are in no particular order. So with that, let's begin. The strategy RPG series has always had quite a cult following, but it wasn't until Fire Emblem Awakening with fan favorite characters Chrom, Lucina, and Robin that its popularity really went mainstream. Partially thanks to Awakening, we now have more Fire Emblem characters in Smash that I can count on my fingers. Oh man, this joke is gonna be great! Beyond featuring some of the series' best mechanics, the subtle use of the system's stereoscopic 3D made battlefields look better than ever. A wonderful localization courtesy of the folks at 8.4 made a large roster of characters memorable, and the relationships created in the game stick in our mind to this very day. You really can't go wrong with any of the 3DS entries.
Nah, this game looks great.
Series, it could have been the last. Marking its first
you
jump
said
in the
should be way higher?
Like
Nah. He said that these are the 25 best Nintendo 3DS games of all time, but he said in no particular order. So this is not like ranked 25th. It's in no order. He's just naming 25 of the best games that's on the console, so don't worry.
The Miracle Mask picks up where its DS title, The Last Spectre, left off. While solving wonderfully engineered puzzles is the bulk of the gaming experience, moments of variety and a few new ideas ensure that the franchise maintains its freshness. What takes it from a top-notch puzzle collection to something more is its storytelling. The broad range of characters, the emotional
this game looks cool.
and the teasing promise of more makes an utterly engrossing experience that you won't want to walk away from. As if its library wasn't impressive enough, the 3DS acquired one of the best games of all time. And it wasn't just some simple port this time around either. It was a full-on remake. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D's development team, Grezzo, managed to strike the perfect balance between evoking nostalgia for the N64 original and carefully updating and polishing the experience to help it shine in the 21st century. It's exactly as you remember, but going back and actually comparing the two reveals that it's vastly improved.
I have a confession to make. I've never beaten Ocarina of Time. I don't think I've ever beaten this game. I've only played Majora's Mask. Liked Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is my favorite. Ocarina of Time, I've never like fully beat it.
In many areas. From its updated UI, which surprisingly can make the water temple a breeze, to its textures and character models also receiving a major overhaul. The changes this remaster brought to the table make this the best way to play the game in the present day, and honestly, everybody should play Ocarina of Time. Whether or not you're a fan of platformers, or whether you've played
here
any
comes
of the previous titles in
Gonzalo.
the series,
Here comes Gonzalo. He's coming. Here he
that should
goes.
not be ignored. The pixelated art style and sense of humor aren't going to be for everyone, but they work so well together and manage to set a very specific tone that Way Forward has clearly spent time perfecting. There is little reason for any 3DS owner to avoid snatching up this gem for their treasure chest. Squeezing the frantic brawling of Super Smash Bros. Onto a
Now get this shit out of here. Next.
Also adding
Next.
Of course, 14,
Next.
3DS. To this day, it's still
Next.
impressive.
Next.
Ace Attorney Trilogy is an excellent package,
All right.
delivering hours and hours
All right,
of
Ace
dramatic
Attorney
and
Trilogy,
oftentimes interactive novelesque gameplay. It almost feels wrong to call this a visual novel, as nothing else really has even come close to
Nah,
it.
you know what?
This game,
I could imagine it's probably so fucking good to take on the 3DS on the go. This shit on the go must be so fire. Like, imagine on your commute and you're in the train and you got nothing to do. This game must be so fire.
And for those new to the franchise, or even just recent fans of Phoenix's later outings, it's a must-buy. If you've played the originals to death, it's a trickier sell, as the enhancements are minor enough that they're not really worth the upgrade if you still have the DS cards laying around. However, as a collection, this is a wonderful addition to the 3DS library. It's surreal, funny, and seriously a huge value. There's no objecting it's guilty of being an excellent title for your 3DS.
I see what you did there.
The GameCube original Luigi's Mansion left those looking for a traditional Mario game at launch feeling a little cheated, but by the time this 3DS sequel arrived, people had finally come around to appreciate the beauty and comedy of Luigi's haunted house exploits. With Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, developers Next Level Games brought to fruition the planned stereoscopic 3D of the original to fantastic effect, making the mansion in Dark Moon feel like a diorama as the green plumber tiptoes around sucking up ghosts and coins.
Bro.
And a port of the original also came to 3DS.
Hot
and
take. I like the original Luigi's Mansion.
When Luigi's Mansion 3 arrives on
All
Switch.
the new Luigi's Mansions don't compare to the original.
SteamWorld Heist is an entirely different proposition to its siblings in the SteamWorld Dig series, and that's no bad thing. Its quirky blend of a 2D perspective allied with turn-based strategy and skill-based attacks is a surprisingly addictive combination. There's an impressive amount of depth to the overall mechanics, and it's all topped off with a presentation that's both charming and accomplished. Whether you're seeking a challenging strategy or an entertaining story, this title delivers both in its unique way and has certainly stolen plenty of our time, and we're sure it'll eat up yours too. Yet another technical marvel of the 3DS is Xenoblade Chronicles 3D.
Hell no. Hell no. Hell no, I'm not playing this shit on my 3DS, bro. You know what? I'll only play it for Ryan. Because look at Ryan's... Oh my god. Look at his face. This is him. Oh man, no.
Fit Monolith Soft's 3D epic onto a tiny handheld is still something of a mystery for us. The second screen meant most of the Wii Original's HUD could be shifted to the bottom screen, but the scope of Xenoblade Chronicles 3D's world meant it was restricted to running only on the updated new 3DS models. It was never going to beat the Wii U version with its looks, but having it on a handheld gave busy gamers a better shot at seeing everything this brilliant 100-hour act.
Bro, this is such a big game. How is this game on the 3DS? This game is huge. And he has everything just the exact same way I have it set up.
Action RPG has to offer, and that's as true today as it was in 2015. While building on the solid platforming foundation of Kirby Triple Deluxe, someone on the design team then took a look at the mechs in Mega Man X and said, "Hey, you know what? Let's toss Kirby in one of those. We'll give him some cute goggles, and we'll call him Mech Kirby." And that idea alone could have been enough to call it a day. Rather than just simply introducing this idea as a gimmick, HAL surrounds this central thought with brilliantly designed worlds, trademark rainbow visuals, and enough charming moments to make Kirby Planet Robobot the finest 3DS outing for the most powerful video game character of all time, as confirmed by Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. We always knew he was more than just cotton candy with a face.
This game is fire. The Kirby game. What I don't like about the 3DS is that they got a lot of these games still full priced on their fucking 3DS store. Like, I'm not going to spend $30+ for these dinosaur games. It's annoying. This might be what, Shadows of Valencia?
Fire Emblem may have found itself in a strange spot
Oh,
after the success
Fates.
of Awakening, but Intelligent Systems have found not just one, but two ways to move forward with its new games, Fire Emblem Fates, Birthright, and Conquest. Each title does a remarkable job delivering what newcomers and longtime players both could possibly want out of the series. The writing is sharp and witty, and the gameplay is as accessible or as hardcore as you want it to be. Extensive campaigns, online multiplayer, and spit-shine polish combine to make some of the most well-rounded Fire Emblem experiences to date.
I wish I could play these games on stream. But I feel like, I don't know how it's going to work. If it's going to be very finicky or whatever, I don't know.
If you told me Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright were getting their own crossover, I'd probably say, what does this look like to you, April
Professor Layton and they had a crossover?
Fools? I don't think so. Quit messing around. But no, this ain't no joke. This is for real. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney is an utterly charming, enjoyable experience to satisfy both fans of the franchises. It's a crossover that, when experienced, makes you feel like it was their destiny to meet up. The individual parts are a joy, and the storytelling combined with deep character development has been delicately constructed. Level 5 and Capcom have done a commendable job on this 3DS exclusive, and we hope this isn't the last time we see them work together.
That looks like it's...
Even though they seem...
That game looks like it's fun as hell. Phoenix Wright with Professor Layton. You said Professor Layton found the Zodiac Killer?
very similar to Pokemon X and Y, and despite the fact that these are remakes, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire's story and the environments feel very fresh and unique. These aren't an extensive overhaul from the mainline Pokemon titles on the 3DS, but they do remain faithful to the unique ideas that were first implemented into their original GBA counterparts. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are a must-buy for any Pokemon fan, even if you've already played the originals. With Monster Hunter World running the show on other platforms and attracting a far broader audience than ever.
You know what's crazy? They got this game for like dirt cheap in the 3DS store. This game is like $5 right now in the 3DS store. But what's so weird is when I tried to buy it and download it, they were like, yo, you need so much space. They told me that my 3DS has no space. I need to get like a fucking 64 gigabyte card or some. It's crazy. You need a lot of memory to download this game.
Before, the series has already entertained a sizable player base in the handheld market, especially in the East. Crafting items from the enormous beasts you've taken down can be hugely rewarding, but it's an investment, and many fans insist the traditional grind and other quirks of the franchise are necessary to the authentic Monster Hunter experience. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate is one of the best ways to find out if you've got the bug for the series, and although it does run on original models, we'd recommend playing on a new 3DS for a better frame rate and the added camera control you get with the C-Stick.
This game looks dope.
Wisely scrapping its Flying Fairy subtitle in the West, Bravely Default has a fine JRPG pedigree and shook up some of the dustier elements of the genre with its eponymous Brave Default mechanic. But it's still
Bravely
the customary
Default.
hero's tale.
A lot of people like this game.
His finest titles. It's a heck of a ride, and aside from some questionable,
Where's Kid Icarus? Kid Icarus is not on this list, bro. I specifically made sure I chose this video and it didn't have Kid Icarus.
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D is a magnificent remastering of one of the finest Zelda games to date. The visual overhaul, the streamlined features, and other improvements make this version an even more enjoyable and accessible experience than the original N64 release. Minor flaws here and there seem insignificant when looking at the bigger picture, and still let this unique title truly shine. The original gameplay ideas, the dark and haunting theme, and a cleverly crafted game world are all still there. But if Majora's Mask didn't win you over back on the N64, it's definitely worth giving this another go on 3DS.
This game is fire. Fire.
Shovel Knight is more than just a great character and a great platformer. It's a celebration of classic gaming. Excellent controls, gorgeous graphics, and an incredible soundtrack and endearing characters.
Shovel Knight is literally Dark Souls,
design, varied gameplay,
but 8-bit.
hidden rooms, optional challenges, and a deceptively rich combat system makes it brilliantly memorable. The entire experience comes together so naturally that it feels more like a recently unearthed gem from the final days of the NES, and it feels less like a nostalgic cash grab. It's a must-buy for fans of platformers, and one of the most charming and satisfying experiences on 3DS, period.
Get good.
The Game Boy sequel to the original Metroid on NES was impressive back in the day, but if there was ever a perfect candidate for a remake in Nintendo's back catalog, that was the one, and there was a lot to be improved on. Mercury Steam did a fabulous job updating Metroid 2's mechanics for the 21st century, giving a whole new audience the chance to experience an important chapter in the series' story with Metroid.
Bro, this is Dread. What's going on? You said Dread before Dread. Bro, this is literally Dread. I don't know what the fuck this shit is. This is Dread.
Metroid Samus Returns. Handy additions like the map were joined with a new melee attack, which...
Bro, she's doing the exact same movement. The game looks word for word Metroid Dread. That's why I said Hollow Knight is $20 and the game has 40 plus hours of content. But this shit was $60. You know what? Let's just continue.
Which introduced a delicate balance of risk versus reward, and it resulted in giving us one of the best games on the system. As the last Fire Emblem chapter on Nintendo's heroic handheld, Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia delivers a perfect swan song for the series' 3DS days. This is a satisfyingly deeply strategic adventure with an engaging personal story. But more than that, it's also just delightfully different from its predecessors. If you loved Awakening and Fates, this is close enough to be comfortable, but with plenty of tweaks.
Bro, I want to play one of these Fire Emblem games on stream. I need to play one of these games on stream.
And additions to feel exciting and fresh. And if you didn't like those entries and yearn for a more traditional Emblem experience, you'll love its throwbacks and unique touches too. Echoes is a phenomenal Fire Emblem and a wonderful tactical title to get lost in. Monster Hunter Generations is another must-have for fans of the franchise, blending the old with the new for an excellent overall package. Hunter styles add a little extra intensity and tempo to combat, while this game also tries to welcome newcomers to its madness with
Generations was on the 3DS?
Better than its immediate predecessor, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, but also does some things a little less impressively. For any gamer ready for a long-term challenge with tough battles and plenty of complexity to master, you can't go wrong with either of the Monster Hunters on this list. When we first heard that The Legend of Zelda was going to revisit the world of A Link to the Past,
this one right here, this game, heat. This game is so good.
Her excitement was quickly met with unease. The SNES Classic is sacred ground, and after so many 3D iterations that stuck to that same template, perhaps returning to that Hyrule might sour our memories of that top-down world. Of course, our concern was unwarranted.
This is such a good game.
Proved to be not only a spectacular Zelda, but also one of the most outstanding games on the 3DS. Like the best mechanics in the series, its strange wall-painting transformation puzzles were so brilliantly simple that you wondered why the concept hadn't been hit upon before. And great use of the system's 3D feature brought Hyrule to life.
I love that concept. I thought it was so good.
And with the Link's Awakening remake on the horizon, we wouldn't be surprised to see this game someday hit the Switch. But why wait for that possibility when you can play it now on 3DS? Seriously, if you have not played this game...
He just wants to flex his 3DS. I see what he did there. You didn't have to show us your 3DS, but he showed it to us, and he got The Legend of Zelda. He just wants to flex. You know what? I accept said flex, because that shit is fire. I do have the Majora's Mask Gold Edition, but that shit looks fire as fuck too.
Go pause the video and go buy it right now. Or go ask a friend, hit up someone, go post on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever, just get a copy of this game.
I have the game already. I have the physical copy of the game. I think my sister has it, but I do have it.
Animal Crossing definitely isn't a game for everybody, but those of us who do play absolutely love it. and the 3DS iteration, Animal Crossing New
This game had more content than New Horizons. How did New Horizons, a fucking Switch game, this game had everything? Like, New Horizons took months to finally start slowly catching up, and this thing has a proper multiplayer. You can fight, you can run around with a mallet and start hitting a bunch of shit together, which, come on, dude.
Leaf allowed us to customize our towns more than ever before by giving us the new title of Mayor. And I guess we have had some help from our secretary, Isabel, too. Animal Crossing is the most evergreen of games. A joyous pastime that enters your life and becomes part of your routine. Whether you're catching a show from resident musician KK Slider, taking fossils and artwork to Blathers for verification, or simply wandering around catching bugs and fishing, there's enough to keep you and your friends occupied for months. The Welcome Amiibo update that surprisingly launched almost 3 years later gave us more reason to return, and at least until New Horizon arrives on Switch, there's no better way to experience the charm of this relaxing series than on 3DS. Resident Evil Revelations is a truly impressive achievement, and the definitive mature title on the 3DS. Those looking for a strong action title with a large portion of horror will feel right at home. With production values worthy of a home console release, a significant volume of content, a blend of the series' different game styles, and a subtly evolved control system, this title feels like a tribute to the classics, but also a genuine progression of the series. Revelations has something to offer Resident Evil fans old and new. There are few experiences on the 3DS more engrossing or exciting than this.
Oh, you dead.
Kid Icarus Uprising is one of the most attractive, exhilarating, entertaining, and outrageously fun titles on 3DS. Uprising provides a substantial amount of content, its own brand of adrenaline-pumping set pieces, and wonderful humor. Setting aside its awkward controls that might keep you from playing for too long, it sweeps you along at breakneck speeds and is a prime example of what Sakurai...
Like the Squid Girls fans being twin squirrels, Wolf Link, fucking Ganon.
You said Amiibo unique villagers like Squid Girls, Twin Squirrels, Wolf Link, really? And the fucking Ganon. That sounds cool.
And his team can do when they break away from the Smash Bros. Series. So we're really excited to see what they come up with next after Smash Bros. Ultimate.
They're not going to come up with anything next.
Billed as a stepping stone between the 2D and 3D games, Super Mario 3D Land scaled down the grand playgrounds of the mainline titles.
This game, I 100%ed it.
It worked better on a handheld screen.
I thought this game was great.
Perspective puzzles, this platformer really showcased the console's stereoscopic 3D by subtly signaling distance and perspective to the player. If you have a 3DS collection, this is probably already on your shelf, unless you've gone digital.
Yeah, this game is so good. I love it.
The best games for the 3DS, according to our readers and viewers. From
you said, I don't like Kid Icarus. I have really bad past with him. One day, I saw Kid Icarus. He said victory. I didn't like it, so we started fighting.
This list had a little bit of everything. Did your favorite title
not make the list?
Well, fret not, because there's still hope for next time. If you'd like to help us with our next fan-voted...
Nah, I'm joking. I haven't played Kid Icarus. I don't know. I'm just trolling.
List, you can head over to nintendolife.com, search on our website for a game, and give it a rating, and there you go. A game needs a minimum of 50 ratings to become eligible for this list.
Trash list.
I'm trying to, like, I feel like this list was good. I'm trying to see what other lists they have. Let me see. Best games to get on your 3DS before it closes out forever. I want to see obscure games. This guy's video is 26. Oof. Oof. Buy now. Rare and expensive 3DS games to look out for in 2022. Let's check it out.
Nintendo has just confirmed that starting in 2023, you won't be able to buy games digitally on the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U eShop.
Just
now, I made a
admit
video about
you
that
got your
yesterday,
ass beat
but what I
at
didn't realize at the time is that
Smash
means
Kappa
physical games are going to go up in value a ton. So today, I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite 3DS games that I have that I think will go up in value or are already up in value, as well as talk about what games that you should be looking out for if you're a 3DS collector. We'll do Wii U another day. All right, guys, so here's my little stack here. We'll go through each game one by one. I don't have a huge 3DS collection like I do for Wii U, per se, so a lot of the stuff will just be...
Is that a cherrim on his mic? I love that.
And like, okay, this is what you should probably be looking out for. This is what I'm personally going to be looking out for. And
wait, is this Wii U or 3DS? I'm bugging out.
My own competition here.
Did he say Wii U or did he say 3DS? I don't know.
By making other people want these things. Because, trust me, prices are going to go up. First-party Nintendo games that you can't get digitally, bad. Very bad. Last summer, when Sony announced that they were going to be shutting down the PS3 and Vita stores, prices for Vita games spiked, and they didn't come down. PS3 games spiked and came down a little bit, but I don't foresee that happening with Wii U and 3DS.
I like your shirt. It's Funky Kong.
And I don't think the prices are going to go up and then go down. I think the prices are simply going to go up. I might be wrong on some of these games. I did pretty much list every first-party game to look out for, because Nintendo fans are crazy. I'm crazy. Nintendo fans just want Nintendo. If it says it's published by Nintendo, we want it. So... let's go ahead and go through the games I have physically.
He said Nintendo fans are crazy.
So I need to actually go back and get these, like these two. Ocarina of Time 3D and Majora's Mask 3D. I don't think this needs to be explained. I mean, it's Zelda, man. I don't know how you could not know that these are going to be worth money. The only way that these maybe could stay around their current value, which I think is like 25 apiece, would be if they port them to Switch. And even then, I don't think that fully would save it. So... I guess while I'm here, I'll just say Zelda games. I don't think I have it here, but I do have Triforce here.
You know what? Shout out to the 3DS games that still has 3D mechanics. There's a lot of the new 3DS games that came out where when you turned up the toggle, to see the 3D effects, they took it away. But there are some games that when you hit that 3D toggle, you still see the shit in 3D. And it's so cool to, like, you know, do every once in a while.
Well,
They're already on the Switch?
Worlds. And I guess I need to get the cartridges for these also, because these are empty cases.
Oh, yeah, true. The N64 versions.
Priority. The second priority, and this is what I'm actually personally going to be going for the most of. I actually have most of the mainline games. Pokemon. Pokemon games, if you know.
Oh, he got all the Pokemon?
The values go crazy. Current DS Pokemon games go for like 100 to 150 on average. Heart Gold and Soul Silver like 200. Specifically, and I'm very glad I have these sealed. I would really go for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. These are the I think these might be the worst selling.
He got those 2 sealed? Oh, just give it like 10 more years. Oh, he gonna get a nice penny for those.
Mainline Pokemon games of all time.
Yeah, 200.
Just because it came out so late in the 3DS life cycle, and it came out a year after Sun and Moon, so people weren't really that interested in upgraded Sun and Moon. So I got these sealed when my Walmart was kind of, they weren't clearing anything out, but they were getting ready to get rid of the 3DS game. So I went in and got these sealed. I have them digitally also, but I thought, you know what, these are going to be worth money, and I'm a Pokemon collector, I'm a 3DS collector, so I went ahead and picked these up. So I would go for those, and then the 2 I don't have that I would recommend you go for next would be Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. People love Poem, people love Gen 3. Those are really good remakes. I think right now they go for like 50 a piece, well, they're already above MSRP, so I would go for those. Those are probably the next things I'm going to buy, honestly. And then after that would be X and Y, of course, the Gen 6 games. These I think are like 40 a piece right now, maybe 30, 40. And then the least important Pokemon games I would say are based Sun and Moon. They're going to go up in price. I want to make that very clear. Every Pokemon game on 3DS is going to go
I mean,
up in price.
he's not lying. Every Pokemon game is going to go up in price, no matter what, because it's fucking Pokemon.
Go for these, because these are the cheapest right now, and will probably stay the cheapest for the longest period of time. I expect Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire to go first, though. Now, while we're on the topic of Pokemon, I don't have any of them here, sadly. I don't have any spin-offs, but spin-offs are also a very serious thing. A lot of these are already pretty expensive, I believe. But you have Pokemon.
I'm trying to see, like, what games is he talking about? Mario. I'm trying to look for some, like, obscure games. I need some obscures. Oh my god, these lists are so long. I want Mario Kart 7 so bad, but it's so expensive. $30, bro. It's an old game. $30. Attention span, 2 seconds. Mario Kart 7, wasn't it low-key? What are you talking about? Mario Kart 7 was so good. You saying Mario Kart 7 is bad? Mario and Luigi games, they're really good too. Top 5 rarest Nintendo 3DS games. Let's see.
Hey guys, Nintendo here. It's that time again for the next entry in our rarest game series.
Bro, this motherfucker's room, dude. This is that guy. I said this before when I saw his room. He is that guy, bro. Like, if I ever got into a Twitter argument with him and I see his room and it's about Nintendo, I'm not even gonna bother. Like, I'll just take the loss. Like, I'll just go on one knee and I'll be like, okay, I lost. Look at him. He's the Nintendo guy. I can't argue with him.
Where we take a look at
He got a Smash Brothers wall.
some of the most coveted and sought after titles in gaming. Today, the Nintendo 3DS is front and center. So join me as we take a look back at the top
My sister still has that one too.
5 rarest Nintendo 3DS games. Let's get to it.
He got Nintendo Power magazines. Oh yeah, he's that guy. He's that guy. Motherfucker had a bunch of
As we take a
Nintendo
look back
Power
at the top 5
magazines.
rarest Nintendo 3DS games. Let's get to it.
I want to look at them. Yo, I could tell you for certainty, I've had this one right here. I've seen this one, but I've never had it. And I've had the one where Pokemon Coliseum was on it. I miss Nintendo Power. Those magazines were so fucking good, man.
Okay, as always, just before we get started, let me get a couple of ground rules out of the way. First, this list will not be considering any special or limited edition titles which are otherwise available easier or for cheap. And each title considered must be an official North American retail release. That means these titles actually hit store shelves and were available to the public. Each title has been ranked based on a combination of factors, including current market value, estimated scarcity, and demand. And finally, every price point that I'll mention in this video is based on the current US market value at the time of this video. So with that out of the way, first up at spot number 5 is Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. Perfect Chronology is a 3DS remake of the acclaimed RPG Radiant Historia for the original DS. This version includes all new voice acting, updated artwork for each of the game's characters and cutscenes, added combat skills and maps, various quality of life improvements, and an entirely new additional storyline called Possible History that you can choose to weave into your adventure. As is the case with the original, this title was published by Atlus, a company notorious for small batch productions, and whose games have appeared many times in this video series. Atlus actually had to issue a second print run of the original Radiant Historia on DS in the US, as it had such a high demand in comparison to the supply of copies they initially produced, and that demand persisted to this reboot. As a result, today, a complete copy of Perfect Chronology can run you about $80. Now, the 3DS hardware was discontinued by Nintendo on September 16th of 2020, which likely contributed to the increase in prices and demand for these consoles and games. This one in particular shot up in price specifically at that time. If you haven't played it before, Radiant Historia offers a deep gameplay experience that has attracted a level of demand for good reason. Thankfully, it's still available digitally for half the price of a physical copy, so this one is mostly just for the collectors. Next up at spot number 4 is Dragon Quest VIII: Journey of the Cursed King.
Dragon Quest VIII.
Dragon Quest VIII is a 3DS port of the 2005 classic
Bro, that's the guy
PlayStation
from
2
Smash
RPG.
Bros.
Through the Journey of the Cursed King,
Wait, that's
players will step
Goku!
into the role of the hero, working with party members to hunt down and destroy the evil source of a terrifying curse. The entourage explores landscapes and cities of a fully realized 3D world, replacing the top-down view of the previous games, and fighting in turn-based encounters that the series has come to be known for. Dragon Quest VIII in particular is highly regarded as one of the best entries in the series, and highly sought after for that reason. Combine that with the worldwide success of the Nintendo 3DS, and you have a perfect storm for massive demand. Today, a complete
Damn,
copy
she
of
has
Dragon
some
Quest
big
VIII is
titties.
right
What's
around
going on?
$100. As far as how it reached that price
$100?
point, this one's story is a little interesting. Prices for this game, as well as many other highly regarded games, have skyrocketed since the beginning of COVID-19. Due to the need for quarantines and social distancing, as well as the closing of many sources of entertainment, the comfort of nostalgia and appeal of online shopping and collecting shot up, which sparked higher demand for the physical copies that are no longer being sold by retailers. Now, this title is also still available digitally on the eShop, so if you want to check it out, you don't have to shell out $100 or be forced to miss out. Or, of course, you can always just grab the PS2 original for about $25 on the secondhand market.
You should see
Coming
her
in at spot
fan
number
art.
3 is Yokai Watch 3.
Yokai Watch.
Would you look at that? Another RPG. I promise this is the last one. Yokai Watch 3 is, appropriately enough, the third installation in the Yokai Watch series. You play as a pair of detectives investigating mysterious cases, meeting and befriending hundreds of friendly yokai, battling the bad yokai and bosses using a new grid-based combat system, and eventually join forces with each other and their yokai teams to face a common enemy. This title was originally released in 2 separate versions in Japan, titled Sushi and Tempura, much in the same vein as the mainline Pokemon series. The third version of the game, known in Japan as Yokai Watch 3 Sukiyaki, was released in December of 2016 and was considered to be the definitive
Yo, the cover art for these games looks so dope.
edition of the game, with all available content combined, including American-themed yokai and new areas and features. This was the version that was eventually released in the US in February of 2019. Today, the game can fetch upwards of $125 for a complete copy. In a story that is becoming all too familiar, this game had a very short print run, likely due to the fact that Yokai Watch 4 was confirmed for a Western release in the same month as this game's release, so both the 3DS and Yokai Watch 3 were nearing the end of their popularity. In fact, it's estimated that under 5,000 copies could have been sold in North America, and many stores reported receiving only a few copies apiece. For such a major title published by Nintendo themselves, that number is incredibly low, and as a result, Yokai Watch 3 is expected to hold its value for the foreseeable future.
This game looks like there was a lot of heart and soul put into it. Like, every time I see footage and cutscenes of the game, man, like, it makes me want to play it.
At number 2 on our list is Alien Chaos 3D.
Huh?
Alien Chaos 3D is a side-scrolling shooter from Swedish developer Ludosity Interactive. When alien robot animals invade and abduct the protagonist's mom with their UFO, it's up to you to use an arsenal of weapons to blast through hordes of enemies and rescue her. Technically, this game is a sequel to the little-known Mama and Son Clean House, an indie Xbox Live title, and the dev team originally wanted to call it Clean House, but the publisher changed it at the last minute to the more generic Alien Chaos 3D, making its connection to Ludosity's Mama and Son series unclear. Now, just looking at this gameplay, you can probably imagine how low this game's print run was. In fact, this game was originally only available digitally and only from the European eShop. So when it came stateside, nobody really knew about this game and didn't have a reason to pay attention. Today, a complete copy of Alien Chaos 3D can fetch upwards of $175. Now, in the case of this game, supply and demand were both exceedingly low at the time of its launch, which ultimately led to scarcity. Even the level designer, editor, and programmer Daniel Remar noted that they made the game in just 6 months and said himself that it could be described as shovelware, albeit still fun to play. And because of its niche appeal and jaw-dropping price tag, this one is generally only for the hardcore collectors. And finally, the last title for today's video, and the #1 rarest game for Nintendo 3DS is Barbie Groom and Glam Pups.
Okay. That's all I needed to hear. This motherfucker said Barbie. What? You said nah, go back? Hell no, dude. Hell no. Yo, there's nothing of entertainment. Hold up. Nintendo 3DS games to get in shop. Let's see. You said don't forget tomorrow's a community day. It's Sandshrew though. Like, I don't even think I'm gonna go hard for that tomorrow. Like, Sandshrew? I'll probably get like 3 or 4 shinies and I'll be done. I'm not gonna go hard for Sandshrew. 20 plus Wii U and 3DS eShop games you need to buy before they're gone forever.
With the Wii U and 3DS eShops closing...
Oh, thank God. I thought it was going to be the fucking guy that talks like this. Call.
In a little over a year, the internet is scrambling to figure out what to buy. After all, the last day to add any funds to these eShops is on August 29th of this year. That's about 6 months away. But worry not. We put together this quick list of about 20 games you need to grab from the Wii U and 3DS eShops before they're gone forever. We'll be primarily focusing on titles only available in a digital format. Starting off, let's look at the 3DS eShop. Number 1, the Nintendo Badge Arcade. This is an excellent little game for customizing your 3DS home screen. It's definitely one of Nintendo's best home screens, and the Badge Arcade had a ton of charm to it. Plus, this game is technically free. Sure, there's also all the themes, but customizing your home screen with a ton of little badges, there's a lot of charm to it all.
Really?
Number 2, Game Boy and Game Boy Color Virtual Console titles.
Yo, you know what? I actually bought these games. I bought Oracle of Ages and I bought the Pokemon Puzzle. I have to buy Oracle of Seasons, and I also have to see if I could buy Wario Land. Wario Land 3.
These include various titles such as The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins, the original Super Mario Land, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal. And speaking of those Pokemon titles, you can connect them to Pokemon Bank, which then you can move up to Pokemon Home. And Pokemon Bank will soon be going free as soon as all the eShops go down in about a year. Number 3, Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix. This is a digital-only title outside of Japan.
I have that.
Exclusive in the US.
I have this game.
Great series and fun rhythm game. So if you haven't checked this one out, you definitely should while you still can. Number 4, Kirby eShop exclusive titles. Kirby's gotten several titles exclusive to the eShops on several platforms at this point over the years, but there's still a few that remain. First up is Kirby's Blow Up Blast. This was the start of Kirby's journey into a 3D space. It was pretty short and small, but honestly a pretty fun experience. And this was, unfortunately, an eShop exclusive, meaning it's got a limited shelf life at this point. And the other was DDD's Drum Dash Deluxe. This was a fun little rhythm game starring King DDD, and this originally debuted as a side mode in Kirby Triple Deluxe. Number 5, the Box Boy Trilogy. The Box Boy games, made by HAL Labs, the creator of the Kirby series, are fun little puzzle games. They're pretty simple, but they're really thought-provoking, and honestly really great. The 4th game is on the Switch, but the original trilogy, that's gonna disappear when the eShop goes down. Number 6, Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. This is a free-to-start game with baseball-themed minigames. Honestly, this was just pretty fun, and everyone was talking about this back when it came out, so if you didn't get a chance to give this a try back in the day, consider it now.
Wait, you didn't even show us gameplay.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Minis on the Move. This was probably my favorite Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. This one just felt very fun to me. And though the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series started to become a bit overpopulated, this was a really fun entry. And I definitely think it's worth checking this one out too. Number 8, the Pushmo series. These platformer puzzles were a ton of fun, and they weren't exclusive to the 3DS either. There was a Wii U entry that also will be unavailable.
Ooh, this game looks cool. It kind of reminds me of Catherine.
These games were great, and I highly encourage checking them out before they all go away soon. Number 9, Pokemon Battle Troze. Pokemon Troze back in the day was a ton of fun as a Pokemon puzzle game, and eventually they did make a sequel to it. But not many people realized this because it was an eShop exclusive title, and a rather small one at that. But it's pretty fun, and gonna disappear soon, so you might as well check it out if you're a Pokemon fan. And number 10, closing out the 3DS section, is Dr. Mario Miracle Cure. This is actually a really good Dr. Mario game that, unfortunately, not many people cared too much about. But now that
Yo,
Dr.
I
Mario
never
World
liked
is gone
Dr.
from mobile
Mario.
devices, maybe you'll check out Dr. Mario Miracle Cure.
I don't like it.
It's pretty fun, has multiplayer, and come on.
Tetris Attack is better. Dr. Mario...
Alright, moving into the Wii U eShop now, we're starting off with Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, there's a very good reason for this. Though this game is available physically, Xenoblade Chronicles X has a ton of small updates to make the game run better, making the characters perform better, the general environment load better, enemies load better, etc. These are listed as free DLC for the game, not just updates for the game. So, truthfully, we don't actually know if these will be accessible once the eShop goes down or not. Meaning, if you have any intention to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, you should do so soon, because it is entirely possible that the eShop will go down, and you won't be able to download those patches to actually make the game perform better on the Wii U. Besides the point, it's also getting really hard to find this game physically too. Number 12 are Game Boy Advance Virtual Console titles. There's quite a few of these on the Wii U eShop, ranging from The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, Mario Pinball Land, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Mario Party Advance, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, and so many others. If you recently got into the Metroid series with Metroid Dread, there's a lot of Metroid titles on the Wii U, so checking out Metroid Fusion, for example, might be a pretty good option. Number 13 is the SNES Virtual Console titles, because, surprisingly, there's some of these that still aren't on the NSO service yet. Namely, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I don't know how this isn't on the NSO yet, but you can get it on the Wii U, and you can get it for pretty cheap on the Wii U, too. Please play this game, give Gino and Malo some love. Number 12 are Game Boy Advance Virtual Console titles. Because, surprisingly, there's some of these that still aren't on the NSO service yet. Namely, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. I don't know how this isn't on the NSO yet, but you can get it on the Wii U, and you can get it for pretty cheap on the Wii U, too. Please play this game, give Gino and Malo some love. Number 14, Wii Virtual Console titles, because the Wii U for some reason introduced Virtual Console for a system that it could still take the discs of. This was always a little strange to me, but there's actually several titles here that you can't really find physically anymore either, making them only available in this digital storefront. Super Mario Galaxy 2, which was missing from 3D All-Stars recently. Kirby's Return to Dreamland, largely recognized as one of the best Kirby titles ever, if not the best to many. Also, it's a fantastic multiplayer experience. And Metroid Prime Trilogy, because you know we had to mention that. We all gotta get ready for Metroid Prime 4 whenever that comes out. Number 15 is the Nintendo DS Virtual Console titles. I will never understand why these are put on the Wii U instead of the 3DS, but there's some really good DS titles on here that deserve some recognition. Super Mario 64 DS, Mario Kart DS, The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, and Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
I never played this game. I played the version when he was in the ocean, but the one with Spirit Tracks, I never played this one. I think I did play a little bit of it, and I didn't like it.
Trilogy. Seriously, I only realized that all 3 Pokemon Ranger titles are on the eShop when making this video, and I'm getting them now. Those are really good games, and I highly encourage checking them out if you're any sort of Pokemon fan. Number 16, Super Mario Advance 4. And this was a special one on here because it included the e-reader card levels that were never before seen in North America before. Number 17, Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. Now, this title is on both the Wii U and 3DS eShops, but we're going to focus in on the Wii U version here. This is a great game for Amiibo collectors. It's a free-to-download game, and the only thing you really need to pay for is whatever Amiibo you own, or need to buy to play the game. It mainly takes the Mario series Amiibo, but it's a fun puzzle game, and it also gives you good use for a lot of those Amiibo, so might be one worth checking out. Number 18, Dr. Luigi. This was a fun Year of Luigi spent on Home Studio. Here in North America, this was a digital-only release, meaning if you want to learn how to draw with Art Academy Home Studio on your Wii U, you only have until next year to download it and start taking those art lessons. In any other region,
why the hell are you going to learn how to draw on a Wii U when you could get a bamboo tablet for cheaper and probably just go on YouTube and just learn from YouTube?
This was released physically, which is a little strange in hindsight, but there you have it. Art Academy Home Studio is another digital exclusive that will be unavailable when the eShop goes down next year. And finally, number 20, Pokemon Rumble U. The Pokemon Rumble series are always fun and silly, and Rumble U
I remember
is a
this
digital
game.
exclusive. Shocker, like everything else on this list. These are fun games, absolutely worth checking out, especially for their large roster of Pokemon. There are a ton of titles that'll be disappearing from the Wii U and 3DS eShops when those close down, and these barely scratch the surface of those.
Yes.
Did you really just disrespected Luigi like that?
Yes. Luigi needs to get the disrespect. That's how he becomes stronger. eShop closing 50 3DS exclusives and hidden gems. All right, we're going to have to watch this.
Nintendo has announced just a few...
Okay, buddy, give me 1 second. I need to get myself some water. Give me 1 second. Oh.
days ago that they'll be discontinuing the 3DS and Wii U eShops in March 2023. So of course, I had to make a list of games worth picking up before they do. I'm actually planning on making several of them, but I'll get into more detail later. First, welcome to the channel. This is From the Void. Okay, first, let's take a look at their statement here. They say that this change will take effect over 1 year from now, in late March 2023, and that anyone will still be able to re-download any game they already had purchased even after that date, as well as download software updates. Now, we all remember that Sony also did the same thing less than a year ago, and then went back on their decision after receiving backlash. But I don't think that Nintendo is gonna back down. They already have a track record for this. Remember, they already closed the Wii digital shop, and they're taking a little bit of more precautions than Sony, at least giving us a lot more time to decide what to do about this than Sony did initially. This is for sure a disappointing turn of events, not because of the discontinuations themselves, but because of the lack of a proper virtual console option in their current system, the Switch. With both the 3DS and the Wii U digital stores closing, that's it for virtual console, and that's a far superior option for game preservation than the online subscription on the Switch. For many reasons, we actually own the games in virtual console, while the subscription allows Nintendo to remove any game at any time. The sheer amount of released games on the virtual console is far superior. But anyway, the fact of the matter is that we're losing access to officially acquire over 600 games that are digital exclusives to the 3DS and Wii U. Luckily, we still have the option to emulate, which Nintendo only helps justifying the need for with this kind of decision. And there are loads of excellent games on those catalogs, many of which are still deep buried hidden gems. And that's the purpose of this video, or rather, the series of videos, because there is so much to cover that I will have to make multiple uploads. In order to get this first one out faster, and also to make it more digestible, I am splitting the...
What's all that movement back there? What's all that
There
movement?
is so
back
much to
there?
cover that I will have to make multiple uploads. In order to get this first one out faster, and also to make it more digestible, I am splitting this first list into 2 videos with 25 games each. I'm calling these Part 1A
What's all
and
that
Part 1B,
movement
where
back
I will
there?
be concentrating on 3DS exclusives and whether they are digital only or also have a physical version that has been getting
What
expensive.
game is
and we'll probably
this?
get much more soon. Part 1B is almost ready, it should be out in 3 days tops, and then Part 2 will be
I wanna
focusing on the Wii U,
play.
and a possible Part 3 will probably be on Virtual Console for both systems. And believe me, I have enough here to keep going for a while. The amount of great games on the 3DS and Wii U eShops is staggering, believe me. So do let me know if you would be interested in a Wii U list and Virtual Console one down in the comments. And that's enough squabbling, let's get to the list. Now, a very obscure hidden gem from Suda51 that deserved much more attention. Liberation Maiden.
That's the booty game.
I need the sauce before I shoot my Alfredo.
Hey, we're about to find out right now. What's all that movement back there? What game is this?
This is a mecha shooter, Zone of the Ender style, with a unique and blissful
What?
gameplay. You use both the stylus as well as the circle pad to control your mecha. I realize that will be a part of
Bro, I'm hearing this on 1.5 and it sounds normal. How does he sound without 1.5?
the audience who dislikes this control scheme, but if you're not among them, trust
Oh,
me,
nah,
this
you talking too slow, homie. Hold on.
is fantastic for a shooter. You move around with the circle pad and with the stylus, you pick and lock targets, and once you let go of it, you shoot them all at once like Star Fox. It works amazingly well, super intuitive, and what makes it even better is that by holding L, you enter strafe mode, where she kinda locks her vision to one direction, allowing for a more focused combat. This is actually really cool. Evading and destroying homing missiles coming your way is very thrilling. The story is bonkers. You are the president of New Japan, as Japan has been taken by the Dominion, whatever they are, and you have to liberate it from them by using a flying mecha. Yep, you are a mecha pilot president of Japan. Splendid. Liberation Maiden is a great game, and on the cheap side too, going for $7.99, and it's a 3DS digital-only exclusive.
It's only $8. Hold on, let me get my 3DS right now. Hold up. Let me add on to my backlog. Give me 1 second. So, bad news, my 3DS is dying. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to charge it. Ugh. You say y'all horny? Bro. Bro. I don't choose the horny. The horny choose me. Okay.
Following up with Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology. Now, this is a highly recommended RPG, and still somewhat of a hidden gem. Perfect Chronology is an enhanced remade version of the original Radiant Historia on the DS, so if you haven't played
They were
the
talking
original,
about
go
this
straight
game.
for this one, as it offers improved graphics, new music tracks.
This is the game that they were talking about before. All right, we've seen this one. Nano, what's this?
EX.
Hey, yo.
This is an excellent shooter that deserved more recognition. The entire series is great. It started on the DS with the Nano Stray games, and EX is probably the best one of them. It's an enhanced version of Nano Assault.
Am I
that
on
came
a
out retail
germ?
for the 3DS, but EX is a digital exclusive with several improvements to the visuals and the gameplay. The visuals are worth a mention for sure because these are shooters that take place on a cellular level, and I think this is a
It's a
great idea
cell
for
game.
the genre. You'll be fighting off microorganisms that can be very menacing from this perspective. The best gameplay feature included is that you can turn this into a twin-stick shooter if you have a new Nintendo 3DS model by using the C-stick thing. To my knowledge, this is the best use of the C-stick in any game. Make that C-stick work for once and get Nano Assault EX, a fantastic game. Received universal praise with really high scores. It goes for $9.99 and is a 3DS digital only exclusive.
So I could be a Cell, the video game.
Now, a fantastic hidden gem that has gotten prohibitively expensive in its physical form. Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure.
Oh, they were talking about this game too.
This is one of the best rhythm games ever, probably. The presentation is simply 10 out of 10, with great looking anime cutscenes, and the rhythm sections work perfectly well with the stylus. Emulation for this game is not gonna cut it, because replicating the stylus strokes with your mouse is bound to suck. So either get this legit or jailbreak your poor 3DS. In any case, this is a deeply charming rhythm game with some of the best songs to sing to, and enough people must have realized that to the point that this game is one of the more expensive 3DS titles physically. It's going for over 110 bucks according to price charting. Meanwhile, the digital version is way less expensive and quite fairly priced at $19.99.
$113 for the physical? Yo, get this stupid box out of my face.
Next is one of those titles from Game Freak that are not Pokemon, and this is among the best ones for sure, Harmonite. This is a surprising game, let me be very clear about that right now.
Wait, Game Freak made it? Next.
Next is a rather obscure series of excellent Nintendo-published titles exclusive to the 3DS, the Dylan Rolling Western Trilogy. These are a mix of three things: action, tower defense, and rolling around Majora's Mask Star Money style. Hell yeah. So this is how it works. You control Dylan with both the circle pad as well as the stylus. To charge a roll, very Sonic-like, you stroke down and hold the stylus. Then you release it and control his direction with the circle pad, being able to break at any time. Gameplay loop-wise, during the day you roam around outside of town to find mines and gather resources to be traded in to increase the village food source, build defenses to the towns, repair and improve them. Then at night, the raids begin with several enemies approaching town at the same time. You intercept them and a separated battle begins, where you must defeat all enemies on screen. Even during those battles, the remaining enemies in the map are still approaching town, so you gotta be fast. And after the raids, you can take on side quests and purchase new skills and such. It's a lot of fun. The second entry, Dylan Rolling Western The Last Ranger, introduces team-up options with other rangers, as well as...
When's the Streamer Awards? We watching the Streamer Awards? Is the Streamer Awards happening today? You said this dude's an assist trophy in Smash Brothers. Hey, stop hating on him.
Sections where you defend a moving train instead of a town, which is very cool. Then the third one, Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, which is a pretty cool name, is by far the more refined in the trilogy, with many different activities to get resources for building your defenses, and especially race battles that are freaking fantastic. All three are great games with pretty cool, unique, and bold styles of gameplay, sure to keep you busy and amused for a long time. In the Americas, they are all 3DS digital-only exclusives, with the third one having gotten physical copies in Europe only. The original goes for $9.99, The Last Ranger is $10.99, and Dead Heat Breakers jumps up to $39.99, which is a bit too much, even though the game is great, especially considering that the European exclusive physical copy is going for dirt cheap at around $5. Too bad the 3DS is not region-free. If you have an European 3DS, $5 is a steal for Dead Heat Breaker. Pick it up immediately.
Wow. That's super
Next,
expensive.
A Nintendo-published title that pretty much no
39?
one knows about. Sakura Samurai Art of the Sword. This is a formidable game, but also a very challenging and demanding one, so be advised, if you're impatient, don't even try. I suck at this game now, because I played it many years ago and completely forgot how to play it, so this footage is not making the game any justice. I apologize. This is an action-adventure with a heavy emphasis on the precision requirements for the combat. It's all about timing your inputs and reading the tells of the enemies, then striking when they lower their guard. In the beginning, you will hate it, most likely, because, like I said, it's a tough and demanding mechanism, but as you learn what you can do and how, the game becomes immensely satisfying. It's not by chance that Nintendo published this. It's a fantastic addition to the 3DS.
It's Dark Souls, but Nintendo.
Like hard games, and for the amount of content, the price is a steal at $7.99. This is exclusive to the 3DS and it's digital only. Next is the Pushmo trilogy. Yeah, there's a trilogy of Pushmo games on the 3DS. Similarly to the Box Boy trilogy, the Pushmo games are puzzle platformers that provide a lot of value. You control Mallow, who can push and pull blocks of infinite shapes and sizes in order to create a way up for himself to reach the goal where there is a child trapped inside a block. In the original, he can pull each block 3 rows back, get on top of it, and push the next one 2 rows and the next one 1 row. But you can also pull them from the side, which is a fantastic twist that makes the whole thing much more interesting and challenging. Plus, of course, they keep adding new stuff like ladders that kind of teleport you around, switches that push all blocks of the same color forward, and so on. The second game, Crashmo, allows you to move the camera freely, which is great, and blocks with no support underneath now fall to the ground. And finally, the third one, Stretchmo, allows you to pull blocks in all 4 directions,
full
which
body.
complicates things a lot. The original goes for $6.99, Crashmo costs $8.99, and Stretchmo is free to download and play the 7 first levels, but the rest of it will have to be bought separately, which sucks. I don't know why they did it like that. The entire pack of stages for Stretchmo will cost you $9.99, but you can also buy each one separately. Next is a very deeply buried hidden gem with the worst name that I only know because I'm looking at it right now because this is the most generic title to a game I've ever seen. Ninja Battle Heroes. Yeah, awful title. It's 3 generic words put together. What were they thinking? Which makes it all the more surprising that this is actually an excellent game. It's an action platformer that looks and plays perfectly fine and even has a lot of replay value. You play as Saizo and a number of other heroes, all with different abilities in very satisfying stages with optional challenges to complete and a whole bunch of skills to unlock, which you will have to choose to equip before entering the stage. It's a great game. Don't let the name or the childish graphics fool you into thinking otherwise. Plus, it's one of the cheapest on the list, going for mere $2.99 exclusively on the 3DS digitally.
Damn, $3? I still think that's too much.
Now for something completely different. Attack of the Friday Monsters, A Tokyo Tale. This is almost not a video game. There's almost no gameplay in it, so I would totally understand if you just cut me mid-sentence and moved on to the next entry. This was made by the same creator of the Boku no Natsuyasumi games, which never made out of Japan, but even so managed to get some Western recognition. These are life simulators, very chill, very therapeutic kind of games. In Attack of the Friday Monsters, you control a boy living in a town in the outskirts of Tokyo. It's a very tiny little place where everyone knows everyone, and you run around delivering laundry because your parents run a laundry shop. You play cards with the other kids in town, which is the most action you will be getting in this game, and you try to solve a mystery that is not actually a mystery in the beginning, but let me tell you, in the end, things make the sharpest turn I've ever seen, and it's freaking awesome. Too bad I can't spoil it. It was a very pleasant experience to me, this game. Made me really feel what it's like to live in a
I don't know why I like how this game looks.
small town in Japan, and I appreciated it for it very, very much. Too bad.
This really is like one of those games that, because he kind of described it, that it's going to have like a crazy twist in the story. I don't know why. I like how this game looks.
This is soon going away for good in an official capacity, but for now, it goes for $7.99 and it's a 3DS digital-only exclusive.
Digital exclusive?
Following up with the 2 Dragon Quest games remade for the 3DS, Dragon Quest 7 and 8. Now the 2 Mario vs. Donkey Kong games on the 3DS. One of these has a physical version, both on 3DS and Wii U, but it's exclusive to PAL territories. And both the Wii U as well as the 3DS are region locked for their own games, so these are digital exclusives for the most part, let's put it like that. We have Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars and Mario and Donkey Kong Minis on the Move. They are wildly different in terms of gameplay. Minis on the Move is actually a Pipe Dream style game. Remember Pipe Dream on the Game Boy? You drag tiles to form a path that the minis will walk on. There are loads of new features introduced that transform the Pipe Dream gameplay a lot. There are bombs to remove tiles, trash cans to discard unwanted tiles, magic tiles, keys and locks, you name it. It's a great game, and this is a digital exclusive to the 3DS everywhere. But if you're looking for a more traditional Mario vs. Donkey Kong gameplay, fret not, because Tipping Stars is just that. It is pretty much exactly the same gameplay as Miniland Mayhem on the DS. Next is a Zelda game I bet many of you don't even know about, and it's free. Yeah, a free Zelda game. Well, kinda. I'll explain. I'm talking about My Nintendo Picross, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Yeah, sorry for the letdown. I wanted to include this here because there will be people who are interested in getting all Zelda games they can. Plus, it's a great Picross game if you like those. It has several different modes, including Picrosses inside Picrosses, which is kinda crazy, and a
Get
good
this
number
shit outta
to
here.
solve. If you're into this kind of game, you can do much.
I'm confused.
This next one climbed up in price like crazy in its physical form. Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy.
Yo, I want to play Professor Layton.
This is the conclusion of the prequel trilogy of the long-running Professor Layton franchise. The story really goes to some unexpected places in this one, which can be hit or miss because of how bonkers it gets, but both the gameplay as well as the presentation are fantastic. If you don't know, these are detective mystery-solving types of games with a huge amount of mini-puzzles as you go by unwrapping the secrets. I prefer Miracle Mask to Azran Legacy, but both are excellent titles. I'm only featuring Azran Legacy here because that's the one that climbed up in price to incredible $93 for the physical version according to price charting, which makes the digital version more attractive for $39.99. I agree it's still expensive, but beats the physical.
I see you, Playmaker. I see you. The game looks great. This game
Next
is
are the
brought
two
up
Kirby
again.
games only available digitally in the 3DS. Kirby's Fighters Deluxe and DDD's Drum Dash Deluxe. Let's start with DDD's Drum Dash. This is a standalone title that we got as an expansion to the minigame from Kirby Triple Deluxe. It is surely a fun rhythm game, very different from everything else actually, because DDD is always in the right tempo. The trick here is to press the A button to make him jump higher when hitting the drums in the bottom, and occasionally hitting something in the air as well. This is much more fun and engaging than it sounds, believe me. If you press A when hitting a drum, DDD will jump higher, and even higher a second time. So you gotta pay a lot of attention to where the coins are and decide how high you wanna jump. But the problem here is that the game is ridiculously short. It's over in an hour or so, even if you decide to do everything it has to offer. Meanwhile, Kirby Fighters Deluxe Deluxe is a bit more substantial, and although not something anybody was asking for, it's a surprisingly fun brawler if played in short bursts, because it can get repetitive. This is basically a Super Smash style arena brawler, but with only Kirby and friends. The best part of it is to be able to have Kirby always equipped with a specific copy ability that you can choose from a wide selection and mastering it. It's a great game for completionists too, as you unlock a myriad of collectibles as you play with each possible Kirby outfit. Both games on this entry are more on the shallow side, for sure, but also are not expensive, going for $6.99 each. These are expanded minigames, both of them, so just don't go expecting a full game and you can have a good amount of fun with both. And that's it for Part 1A.
Imagine.
Don't worry, because Part 1B is coming soon, and after...
He said Part 1... What? He said this was just Part 1? Part 1A? Where's Part 1B? Is this it?
What's up, everybody? Part 1B is here. If you haven't seen Part 1A, link in the description or up here. I have 25...
Oh, he just made this video too. Oh, shit.
5 more 3DS exclusives, many of which are hidden gems, to show you. So buckle up, get your wishlist ready. Welcome to the channel. This is From the Void. This time we must begin with the fast and awesome Air Race series.
Air Race? Oh, hell no. Hell no. I hate space racing games. There was a game like that on PlayStation. I think it was called like Wave something. Wipeout. No, what's it called? Wipeout? It was a game on PlayStation that had to do with like you racing in like space cars. I hate games like that. It's called Wipeout. I hate it.
In the previous video, I talked about the two 3DS exclusive Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, Dipping Stars and Minis on the Move, but there's another one on the series, and this time it's a DSiWare original title, Mario vs. Donkey
Bro, her titty was cut off. I ain't playing this shit. Next.
Next is Deceiving Unchained Blades. At first glance, you may think that this is going to be another average dungeon crawler, and there is no shortage of those. But this game is deceiving like that. Don't get me wrong, this is still a game for more hardcore RPG fans, like most dungeon crawlers tend to be, but it has a bunch of important aspects to offer that few others do in this particular dungeon crawler genre. First, a lot of big names in the industry worked on this, including Nobuo Uematsu, who made a few tracks, and each main character was...
Dungeon crawler next.
Now the second DSiWare 3DS exclusive on the list, and this one was made by WayForward, so you know it's quality. Mighty Milky Way. Okay, this is on the same series as Mighty Flip Champs, which is also available on the 3DS, but that one made it to the PSP, Vita, and PlayStation 3. And gameplay-wise, both titles are completely different, but both are excellent titles, so you may consider looking up Mighty Flip Champs too, and I plan on covering it in the future as well. Mighty Milky Way is a platformer with a fantastic gimmick. The main protagonist is Luna, an alien French lady. Seriously, she speaks French all the time. She's great. I love her. But we have very limited control over her. All we can do is make her stop or walk at 3 different speeds by pushing left and right with the circle pad. And that's it. We can't even turn her the other way. But by tapping the planets with the stylus, we make them pulse, which sends Luna floating away in space. She will be attracted by the gravitational pull of other planets, and by pressing and holding the stylus in space, you can create a planet for her to land on, while spending the candy you find scattered around. Mighty Milky Way has a great gameplay that makes this an absolutely unique platformer, and I can't...
This one is weird.
Next is spectacular strategy RPG Stella Glow. I realize there will be people who will not want to touch this because of the chibi character sprites in battle, but if you're a fan of tactical RPGs, make no mistake, this is one of the absolute best offerings on the 3DS for sure, and an excellent title overall. Also, as a huge fan of this composer, I will always highlight when a game has music by Yasunori Mitsuda from Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross fame, so that should also perk your ears to this game. Now, even though Stella Glow is filled to the brim with RPG tropes, like yet another...
The chibis don't even look that bad.
Are kind of slow. The story here
I've
is
seen
one of the
worse
best aspects of
chibis.
this game for sure. It picks up right after the initial 10 minutes, and it develops a great pacing, remaining interesting throughout the game's entire duration. There is a whole musical setting, which is quite interesting, although the witch tuning idea can come off as weird and quirky in the beginning, but it's handled in good taste and becomes enjoyable very early on. The battle system is absolutely solid. It doesn't introduce anything too unique, but the amount of abilities, the special condition challenges in each mission, and the really well-balanced difficulty keeps the battle engaging during the entire game. So we got a whole package of excellency with Stella Glow, with only minor issues keeping
it looks kind of cool.
This is no less than a 9 for sure, and as such, I think this is a hidden gem. So I really wanted to include this on the list because of this game's quality, the fact that it's a 3DS exclusive, and that there is a big discrepancy between physical and digital prices. It's going for no less than $54 for the physical as per price charting, while the digital sits at $19.99, which is a very fair price for Stella Glow. It occupies 11,711 blocks on the 3DS. Next, a very obscure and unexpected over-the-shoulder third-person shooter exclusive to the 3DS, Ironfall Invasion. Now, right off the bat, I will acknowledge the fact that this game got mixed reviews by critics and players alike, and there are two reasons for that. First, the fact that without a new 3DS model or a circle pad for the regular model, the gameplay suffers considerably because of the lack of a second analog stick. But trust me, if you have the new model 3DS or a circle pad Pro, the game allows for a perfectly functional gameplay. It's actually surprisingly good. The real drawback to me is that this game suffers from a severe case of generic.
Hell no. A shooter on a 3DS?
You think you saw it all when it comes to video games? Think again, because this one is unbelievable. Error Porter.
What? Oh, hell no.
Next, Chain Blaster.
No.
This one is another surprisingly great game that I think no one knows about. Jet Rocket 2, The Wrath of the Taikai. I believe this got buried into the unknown pits of the 3DS library because of the way it looks and the name of the game. I bet a lot of people figured it's just a mobile phone endless runner type like Jetpack Joyride or something, but it's absolutely not, and rather an incredibly competent platformer to stand tall even against the fierce competition on the 3DS. At first I was like, yeah, okay, fun platformer, jump with A, roll dash with B, jump and roll upwards with A, B, cool, I dig it. Then the game went like, take this item here, get yourself 5 jet propulsions and press Y. I was like, wow, okay, this changes things a bit. It's a lot of fun to find collectibles with this. Cool, I'm definitely featuring this in the video. Then when I got to the second stage, they actually turned the game into a 3D platformer in a real seamless way, and I was blown away. Wow, this is really excellent. And it kept going. There are jet ski sections. They're not fantastic or anything, but a fun change of pace. And the only issue is that this is yet another case of generic disease. The art design is very bland, and so is the music. It's also kind of short, but inexpensive at $8.99, exclusive to the 3DS and digital only. It's very much worth that. A fine platformer with great level design for sure. It occupies 567 blocks. Next, a series
Devil
of loads
Summoner
is exclusive to the 3DS. Shin Megami Tensei. There are 8 entries on this series exclusive to the 3DS. 8. I'm covering only 6 of them because the 2 Persona Q games I don't have. And guess what? They're all expensive. I'm not gonna go into a whole lot of detail about each one, otherwise we would be talking about Megami Tensei for 15 minutes straight. So let's go. Let's start with the lesser known ones. First is Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. They have just announced the sequel to this one, simply called Soul Hackers 2. So this may also rise in price a lot, especially since the only version ever made available to the West is this 3DS remake. This has a typical SMT gameplay with the dungeon crawling and demon recruiting. The setting is cyberpunky, including the Matrix-like Paradigm X virtual space, and it's impressive how well made these settings are in SMT games, especially considering how different they are from each other. Soul Hackers is $19.99 digitally, while the physical is $60 at least as per price charting, but the cheapest completing box eBay offering I found was $90. Soul Hackers takes 14,798 blocks of space on your 3DS. Moving on to the 2 Devil Survivor remakes, Overclocked and
14,000 blocks on the 3DS? Bro, I gotta get a bigger memory card for this. I have to get a bigger memory card for my 3DS, because I have no space left on my shit. What? Hold on. Is there a way I could check how much space I have on my memory card? Because I couldn't even download Monster Hunter. Let me see data management. Micro SD management. How much do I have? Okay. To make use of this application, you will need the following: a wireless access point, a PC with Windows 7, or Windows 8.1 installed. What? Bro, how much? I'm trying to see how much space do I have. How can you see how much space? It's outdated Windows 10. Should work. Let me see. I'm trying to see. I got 10,000. I got 10,000 blocks left. Smash Brothers is 9,000. 9,000 plus. Rhythm Heaven is 3,000 blocks plus. Yo, Pokemon Crystal's only 92 blocks. You said delete Smash? I should delete Smash. But there's a part of me that wants to get a bigger memory card just to have it. Just so I can put more games on it.
And 2 Record Breaker. These are a fine change of pace for the Mega 10 series, as they mix in quite an interesting way strategy grid-based RPG for the positioning and traditional turn-based RPG for the actual combat. I really like the look and feel of the battles in these 2 games. The stories are also great, going to some disturbing places, especially in 2, and both add new story segments compared to their vanilla versions. These are excellent tactical RPGs, both of them, that are going for high prices for their physical versions. Overclocked is going for at least $61 and Record Breaker for $56, so $19.99 each digitally.
What is
way
that?
More attractive. Overclocked takes 9,188 blocks, while Record Breaker takes 22,808. Now, my absolute favorite Megami Tensei game ever, Strange Journey Redux. This game is not connected to any other game in the franchise, so it's a great perfect place for newcomers to start, and the setting here is fantastic. Humanity is on the brink of climatic apocalypse, and a time-space anomaly shows up in the South Pole, so a secret team of specialists is sent down there and all hell breaks loose. This expedition makes for a really interesting story. It is truly a strange journey that kept me entertained for the game's whole duration. Gameplay-wise, it's similar to most SMT games, lots of dungeon crawling in first person, demon killing and recruiting, and a deep and satisfying turn-based combat that will require you to do all sorts of decisions in and out of combat. Fantastic game, among the best RPGs, period. But it's relatively expensive at $39.99 digitally, while the physical copy goes for at least $45 as per price starting, but good luck finding one.
That's expensive. These games are old.
This game takes 13,669 blocks of space. Then there is Shin Megami Tensei 4 and Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. These are mainline entries exclusive to the 3DS, much like SMT5 is exclusive to the Switch. These are fantastic games with yet another great setting, for sure one of the best in the whole franchise. It's at the same time post-apocalyptic and feudal. You control a samurai living in Mikado, a medieval city on top of a dome created to protect Tokyo from obliteration when pretty much the apocalypse happened as demons and angels invaded. How crazy is that? Battles are regular turn-based with the recruiting demons as usual, but this time you have other 3 human allies controlled by AI to help you with assists during battle. Navigation is different from the other games on this list as it's in third person in 3D environments, which makes this game very impressive on the 3DS. And 4 Apocalypse is pretty much more of the same gameplay-wise, while the story takes place concurrently to the end of the story in 4 with a new protagonist. Both are fantastic games. 4 goes for $50 physically, while Apocalypse is $76 as per price starting. Meanwhile, the digitals are way less expensive, with 4 going for $19.99 and Apocalypse $29.99. 4 takes 14,337 and Apocalypse 13,747 blocks of space.
13,000?
Now, the other Kirby game I shamefully omitted from my previous video, and it's the best one of them, Kirby Blowout Blast.
You talked about it.
Okay, now the one I was talking about, that is an incredible DSiWare hidden gem, and it's published and co-developed by Nintendo. This is Escape.
My eyes hurt.
Yeah, almost no one in the planet knows about this, and it's a Nintendo game. This is a sequel to X, the game that gave its developers a job at Nintendo to make Star Fox, so I should have caught your attention by now. By the way, Escape is known in Europe by another name, 3D Space Tank, so if you have an European 3DS, probably search for that. Way worse name in my opinion, but anyway. So this game is similar to Star Fox in many ways, and I'll be clear right now that the control scheme is difficult and will require a patient player, okay? You use the stylus to do everything except shooting, which you do by pressing any button. By touching the top of the screen, you go forward, while touching the sides turn your space bar, and the bottom goes in reverse.
No way. I am not playing this. Nope.
Despite the name suffering from generic disease, which I'm sure didn't help putting this in anyone's radar, the game is fantastic. All other aspects of it are not generic, luckily, especially the gameplay. The premise is as straightforward as the title. You are an alien trying to escape the spaceship, that's it. You do so with the quirkiest mechanism in this entire list. They call it fever action. It is awesome. Basically, the alien leap dashes forward when you press and hold B, and once you let go of it, he'll do the fever thing and destroy a tractor beam, which are these orangey yellow glowing circles that would otherwise pull him upward and give you a game over. Every time he does it, he strikes a pose for a second, and there are hundreds of them. This game is quite humorous. So the alien must run through each stage, clearing the orangey.
Why does this game remind me of Beautiful Joe?
Are unfeasible, as well as engaging in fistfights with robots, all in the hopes of getting his hands on the chili sauce bottles, which he will consume and then do this. Yeah, unfortunately, each time his jackass friends throw him back to the spaceship in orbit, those jerks. So it's back to more stages filled with increasingly devious traps like ice and conveyor belts and much more. This game is guaranteed fun, and for the measly price of $3.99, this is an absolute must-buy. Pick it up now. It occupies mere 100.
This game looks so silly.
And this is yet another 3DS digital-only exclusive. Next is an excellent game from Game Freak that is not Pokemon, and this one is maxed out in levels of quirkiness. Pocket Card Jockey. This effectively mixes horse races with solitaire and drawing lines, and it makes a fun, funny, addictive, and immensely charming experience. Kudos to Game Freak.
Solitaire and frickin' racing? Okay.
Something so out of the ordinary. The story is thoroughly humorous and creates a completely nonsensical explanation for why succeeding at playing solitaire makes the horse gain more points to be used to help it position itself, which will in turn give it more enthusiasm in the home stretch, where it's all or nothing, and there's a fun twist in the gameplay. It's awesome. This game is full of stats and variables to take into consideration, but it never becomes boring because you're always doing something entertaining at each step. It also has plenty of luck-based aspects, so it can become frustrating towards the end, but
You said just play Tulip again? Bro, if I ever play Tulip again, I need a guide. Again.
Next is a rather obscure horror game, Dimension Remastered. This could just as well be called Dimension Remade, because they actually did...
Hell no, I'm not playing this. I'm too scared.
Now, Steel Diver Subwars.
That's even worse. I'm scared of the ocean and underwater. Next. Even worse, Dr. Mario?
Okay, this one goes beyond the obvious, so if you're a fan of Fire Emblem and plan on playing Fates in the future, pay attention. Also, when it comes to 3DS games with expensive physical copies, nothing beats this one. Fire Emblem Fates Revelation. Revelation is the end of the Fire Emblem Fate story, actually. It's not an alternative path, so it's very important if you'd like to play this game in the future. Also, there's a bunch of other DLCs available for download that only become available once you reach Chapter 6 in the story of Conquest or Birthright. Chapter 6 is still in the beginning of the game, it's not too far away, but if you leave this to the last day before the stores close, you're gonna have a stressful time. I'll not get into much detail about these DLCs. It's Fire Emblem.
Oh, she kinda bad. She kinda bad. Where's my Awakening? Good thing on my 3DS, I have a physical copy of WarioWare Gold, where it has like all the mini games and shit. So I'm glad I still have this, but I have to find my Awakening game just so I can fucking play it. Fire Emblem do got some nice waifus, bruh. That's why the Fire Emblem Heroes game is so popular, because I got a lot of waifus. Why do you think they made like 10 different units of the same character of Camilla? There's like 10 different versions of Camilla, 10 different versions of Lynn, like 6 different versions of Katria, like 3+ different versions of this girl that they just showed.
Of tactical
Yeah,
items.
Darja, bro. They just put like 3 more versions of Darja just now.
No, it. Revelations wraps up the story nicely, and the other DLCs expand on the main story, providing new characters to play, links to interesting crossover scenarios between Phase
Oh, I
2
found
and
the game.
final scenario focused on the child characters. All downloadable content here is meaty.
I found
and
it.
Now, as I said, Revelation does have a physical version, a very rare, very limited, very
Yes,
expensive
sir.
physical version. It is only available in
I gotta
physical
pop
special
this
edition.
shit
It
in.
comes with all 3 scenarios in one cartridge, which is fantastic. But it goes for ludicrous $245 for a complete copy as per price charting. But I couldn't find one for less than $350 on eBay. So the $19.99 for Revelations Digital is looking like a bargain. It takes only 599 blocks on your 3DS because it uses most of the same assets as the game you already own. Meanwhile, the rest of the DLC can be bought in 2 packs. Map Pack 1 goes for $17.99 and takes 1,319 blocks, while Pack 2 goes for $7.99 and takes about 1,200 blocks. The block space may differ depending on what version you have, and if you have them physically or digitally, it's very confusing, and everyone says a different thing online, so I'm not positive about this, I apologize. But all the DLCs together shouldn't take more than 3,500 blocks.
Okay.
Next, yet another deeply buried hidden gem, and one that was published by Nintendo this time. Quetzal's Corridors, also known as Speed Through Potzol's Puzzle in Europe. Great names. This game is one of those match the shape of your guy to the shape of the hole, and it's a pretty addictive type of gameplay, that's for sure. You control a stone totem, which is a weird protagonist. The controls are intuitive, and there are several collectibles to get and tricks to pull off while matching the shapes. It's not gonna blow anyone away or anything, but it's loads of fun and perfect for short sessions. And it's on the cheap side too, going for $6.99, exclusive on the 3DS and digital only. It's also not too heavy, occupying 275 blocks on your 3DS. And with that, we covered 50 3DS games, and there's a whole bunch more, believe me. So stay tuned.
Damn.
Because next I'll be covering the Wii U, then I'll go back to the 3DS with one on virtual consoles, another one on DSiWare games, yet another for the remaining exclusives, and maybe even...
Damn, this guy's doing God's work. You say, who you gonna marry? I don't even know. I don't know who I'm marrying. I have no idea. No idea whatsoever who the hell I'm gonna marry. Oh, he even had everything laid out here. I'm so crazy. The only games I have right now on my 3DS is WarioWare Golden. I got Smash Brothers, Rhythm Heaven, Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Shuffle, Zelda and the Four Swords, and Pokemon Puzzle Challenge instead of Pokemon Shuffle, Pokemon Puzzle. I need to get more games on it though. I want to have like a library of games on my 3DS, and then when the shop goes down, I'll just be fine. You said whoever it is, it won't be as funny as Retro marrying Hilda. Yeah, she brought her brother to the wedding, and then she married her brother instead. My brother.
Nintendo has announced just a few days ago that they'll be discontinuing the 3DS and Wii.
Man.
At the time of this recording, the Nintendo 3DS eShop doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon, but even so, it's only a matter of time before the dang thing kicks the butt.
You just want to flex this shit, and I'll take it because he got it.
Then once that eventually happens, it's gonna get a hell of a lot harder to get a hold of some of the more notable titles for anyone who's not a multi-trillionaire, thanks to how crazy some of the aftermarket prices have gotten. So if you're a fan of the 3DS and you want to have the option to play every...
Also, the fact that he's holding it like this without a case, like you see how I have my 3DS? I have my shit with a casing over it. You see? So it doesn't get fucked up. So like you see, I have this. This is old. Like this shit aged, but look at how glossy. I'm trying to get the reflection. Look how glossy I still have my shit because I have this over it to protect it. Why is everybody that's showing off their DSs in the videos, they don't have a protection over it? Like, put some protection over your shit so it doesn't get fucked up. Like, look how he's holding it. You know how much this 3DS is worth? Your 3DS got ray tracing?
every decent game for the rest of your life, then you better ransack the eShop now while it's still up and running unless your name's Bill Grades. However, with 3DS having like a billion games that are pretty good, figuring out where to start can be a pretty daunting task. So that's why I've taken it upon myself out of the kindness of my ass to try and compile 9 games that you should prioritize getting on the eShop the most. But keep in mind, this is absolutely not about which 9 3DS games are the best on the console, just which ones you should buy in the eShop based on how much some of the prices for physical copies cost in the aftermarket. But I'm also going to lean more toward games that are less likely to be ported over to modern and future consoles, or even games that are just never going to play the same thanks to the 3DS's features, even if they do eventually see ports. I'm sure a lot of you probably already left comments about how you should just hack your 3DS and get everything for free instead. Whether it be for more...
True. I know chat is going to say that too, because that's realistic. I could just hack this shit, and I could just have everything if I wanted to. But there's a little part of me that doesn't want to do that just because I don't want to do it. But in the future, if it does lead up to it, I'll probably do it. But, hey.
moral reasons, not wanting to brick the damn thing, or even being on probation and not wanting to go back to the slammer for pirating Nintendo games, there's plenty of people out there who'd rather not mod their 3DSs if at all possible. So without further ado, and in no particular order, let's start with number 1. Pokemon games. If you own a Nintendo handheld, then it's basically a law that you're required to own at least one Pokemon game.
I'm not getting any of these Pokemon games because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to play any of them. If I buy these games right now and I got them on my 3DS, I'm not playing any of them. None.
And when it comes to the 3DS, there's certainly no shortage when it comes to this franchise. But as far as which games you should prioritize, well, every Pokemon game is essentially the same thing, more or less. You choose your starter, capture even more Pokemon on top of that, take down an evil gang all by yourself, complete 8 gyms, or island challenges in the case of Sun and Moon, which are barely any different at all, and then you do some post-game shenanigans, and that's pretty much it. So it really just comes down to which Pokemon you want in your party and whether or not you like rollerblading. At the end of the day, though, it doesn't really matter which Pokemon game you choose, but if you don't want to break the Pokemon law and violate your parole, then you better pick one up soon, because games from this franchise always end up costing way more in the aftermarket, and the same's bound to happen for the 3DS titles as well. Number 2, WarioWare Gold. WarioWare
I got that game. This game is fire. This game is so fire. When they released WarioWare Gold, I went straight to my guy and I got it instantly. I was like, give me that WarioWare Gold.
Be everyone's cup of tea, but unless you're some kind of a winky goblin or something like that, there's no denying that there's nothing else out there like them. The game's essentially 316 minigames you play back to back, and none of them take longer than a few seconds, and they all have wacky solutions based on the 3DS's various gimmicks. And since the game was built entirely around the 3DS's gimmicks, it seems pretty certain that it's never going to see the light of day again now that Nintendo's probably moved on. And even though physical copies of the game don't really cost all that much more at the time of this recording, I'd be willing to bet my last shilling that the prices are going to creep up before anyone realizes it. So if you miss your chance to get into physical, then you should probably get a digital copy before the eShop quits being alive, because if you're only going to get one WarioWare DS game, then this is definitely the one you want since it brought all the best minigames back. Number 3, Dragon Quest 7 and 8. Dragon Quest games are some of the most reliable JRPGs out there, but if you want to get physical copies on the 3DS, then get ready to sell your soul to my buddy Lonnie who's going to resell. So, you know, that is something. Number 4, Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure. There's really not much to explain when
Everybody keeps talking about this game.
the rhythm games, but in my opinion, the 3DS really is the perfect place for them thanks to the stylus, and Rhythm Thief in particular is one of the more interesting ones. You play as a jabroni named Raphael who investigates his father's disappearance and Napoleon's resurrection.
Bro, nah, somebody got to send me a soundtrack from this game because they're making it seem like this game got bangers. I got to hear the soundtrack.
This game on the 3DS, you buttwagon. Number 5, Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Bowser Jr.'s Journey. This is a remake of a Nintendo DS game from 2009 that nobody ended up buying because it came out way too late in the 3DS's life cycle. Sadly though, the game's developer Alpha Dream really banked on this game succeeding and had to declare bankruptcy when it tanked. Personally, I didn't buy it when it first came out because I was kind of taking a break from collecting at the time and I knew that I wasn't going to play it anytime soon. However, when I realized physical copies were $10 more on eBay, I decided to buy a sealed copy before it was too late, and my god do I feel like the biggest dick ever for doing this. Because not only would it have been cheaper to buy the game when it first came out, but it actually might have helped Alpha Dream stay in business. I mean,
Yo, we need another Mario and Luigi game. I'm so mad that the company, I guess, went down or disbanded, but these games were so good.
not really because they're over $3 million in debt, but still, that's the principle of the matter, you know?
They were $3 million in debt?
It actually might have helped Alpha Dream stay in business. I mean, not really because they're over
Oh.
$3 million in debt, but still, that's the principle of the matter, you know? Buying it digitally now may not bring the company back to life or anything like that, but I mean, I'm sure it'll still do some good. Plus, it is still cheaper on the eShop than buying a new copy, and who knows, by the time you're watching this video, the prices might have gone to the moon. Either way, if you're a 3DS collector, you should probably try to get a hold of this game while you still can. Number 6, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. For the first and only time ever, Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright joined forces in a video game while fusing the puzzle and exploration gameplay elements with the trial mechanics, and the results left most people happy as far as I can tell. But then, for whatever reason, it never happened again, and unfortunately, the game became expensive as ass once people found out it existed. I'd be surprised if this game never gets ported someday, but since there's probably some rights issues or whatever, I don't think it's gonna happen in the near future. But hopefully I just jinx myself by saying that, because I'd rather everyone be able to play whatever games they want as easily as possible. Until then, though, the game's pretty cheap on the eShop, so if you want it, that's probably your best bet to get it right now. Number 7, the Yokai Watch Blasters games. Alright, so even though I've always considered to be somewhat on the ball when it comes to new 3DS releases, I honestly never knew that these two
You
Yokai
look
Watch
kinda
games existed in the first
sus.
place. And you know what? I'm pretty sure nobody else noticed either based on how crazy the prices for these games shot up in the aftermarket. I decided to give the first Yokai Watch game a chance after seeing that it was even more popular in Japan than Pokemon when I visited back in 2013, but even though I love just about everything about this, it feels like a Yokai Watch Warriors game with Captain Toad's treasure tracker. All I know is that if you do that, then a digital copy seems to be your best bet. True game. I don't know, I guess it's up to you. I know that Yokai Watch 3 is expensive as frig too, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't download that too if Yokai Watch games tickle your fancy, but given that it's a main
You're nuts. $180, $200 for Yokai Watch 3? 8 watchers? You're nuts.
game, I can't imagine that I'm never gonna port it at some point, and I don't think I could say
You're
the same for
nuts.
Plus, I already broke the rules for Dragon Quest, so I can't do it again, but I don't know, maybe I'm just a dingus though. Number 8, 3D Classics. Rather than just copy and pasting NES games into the 3DS, Nintendo decided to add a little stereoscopic 3D to some of them to spice things up a bit. But then nobody ended up buying them, Nintendo said friggin' just copy and pasted the rest of their NES games over. And honestly, I can't really say that I blame Nintendo for giving up on the 3D Classics idea, nor do I even blame anybody who didn't feel like buying them. But personally, I think if you're gonna replay a retro game, then you might as well add some kind of a twist to the experience if you don't want to change the gameplay with a full remake. And it's for that reason why these are some of the only 3DS games that actually play in 3D the majority of the time. Sega also gave some of their Genesis games the same 3D treatment, and some of them even
Nah, that bomb guy's movement was kind of annoying.
put onto a cartridge that isn't that expensive in the aftermarket, at least not right now anyway. However, the same can't be said for the 3D NES games, and even though it doesn't actually make the games better per se, it does make them feel unique on the 3DS. Once the eShop's closed, you're probably never gonna be able to get a hold of any of these games ever again, even if you are rich. Unless, of course, you hack. But don't forget that you're on parole, so don't push it, buddy. I'm sure these games might not seem all that special if you got a 2DS, but I swear to God, I feel like Kid Icarus controls like 1,000 times better in the 3DS version. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but I beat this version of the game relatively easily and barely even make any progress in any other version that I ever tried, so I don't care what anybody says, this version definitely controls way better. Number 9, pretty much anything developed or published by Atlas. Much like with most consoles, Atlas RPGs were niche at the time they came out, only become expensive as all hell later on. Atlas made and published so many games on the 3DS that I could easily made this entire video about which ones you should get in particular on the eShop, seeing as how pretty much all of them are expensive on eBay right now. Like, getting Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse in particular is damn near impossible if you don't want to spend a fortune, but I'm sure it's only a matter of time before both versions of that game find their way to other platforms. So if you ask me, and if you clicked on this video, then you kinda already did, then the Atlas RPGs on the 3DS you should prioritize getting first are the Etrian Odyssey games, as well as Persona Qs 1 and 2. And that's mainly due to the fact that the touch controls for these games are gonna make it pretty difficult to port them to any other console without feeling weird like the world ends with you. Plus, not
Yo,
only
this man's talking fast. Hold up, I gotta slow it down. I did not understand a single word he just said.
cheaper digitally, especially Persona Q2 in particular, but Persona Q1's physical cartridges had a fair amount of botches among them that caused the game to randomly crash. And if you just so happen to have one of the botch cartridges and decide to play the game after the eShop closes, then not even sending a copy of the cartridge cut in half to Sega will get you a download code, since there's not going to be any way you could possibly redeem it. But anyway, these are the games that I came up with, and I'm sure there's probably one or two that are expensive as hell on eBay and cheap on the eShop, so if you feel like I neglected something, let me know in the comments.
Mara?
Anyway, that's all for today, though. If you like this video, then you might like my video where I did pretty much the exact same thing.
Alright, no more 3DS stuff. No more 3DS stuff. You said some people want their own legit thing? Yes, they do. Slowed it down to the very end? Yes, sir. You said feels lag, man? I don't even see myself lagging on the stream. What you mean feels lag? I don't even see myself lagging. Bro, the wind outside is blowing so hard. If a tree falls outside... You said what lag? Zazu. Zazu spamming feels lag, man. Should I ban him? Should I kill him? I think I should. I think I should. Damn.